right, folks, we are on our way to the brand new Wes Anderson movie, The Phoenician Scheme, headed to the screening right now. I don't know what to expect. You know, I've enjoyed a lot of Wes Anderson's movies as of late. I'm excited for this trio. I don't know what the story is going to be, but Cera seems like a good fit, so let's check this out.
2 hours later.
Initial thoughts, got a lot to say. Wes Anderson's style on full display here. Love the production design, the set pieces. It's like the typical good things you say about Wes Anderson movies. This trio is fantastic, the way they worked off of each other. And the star-studded cast, Scarlett Johansson, Benedict Cumberbatch, Tom Hanks, Bryan Cranston. I could go on for days. The story didn't quite hit as hard as maybe I had hoped for. Started strong, progressively dwindled a little bit. We're going to talk about it, but all in all, maybe a little disappointed. All right, let's start with the rating. It's PG-13. There's sexual material, nude images, smoking, and some really unexpected violent content. Wes Anderson doesn't usually go for the over-the-top violence. There's one scene in particular where I'm thinking, whoa, I think it was at the beginning of the movie. And the premise is simple, right? Benicio del Toro plays Zaza Corda, and he's this wealthy businessman that a lot of people are trying to kill as they're meeting with basically a who's who of actors while being chased down by scheming tycoons, terrorists, determined assassins. And this guy, Del Toro's character at the beginning of this movie, every way in the world, they try to take him down, but he just won't die. First of all, like I said in my reaction, I love the core group that we're dealing with here. Del Toro is so good in Anderson movies, but the real key here, Cera, just this perfect puzzle piece for the vibe, the tone, the type of movie that Anderson likes to present. I think he fits so well here. I can't believe they've never worked together before, but I want Cera to be his new Tom Hanks. I want Cera to be his new Bill Murray. Just work together on every project because he's so perfect in this movie. And then you have Mia Threapleton, who plays Del Toro's daughter here. She plays a nun, and she is the heir to his estate. So if something happens to him, she gets everything, and he's a very wealthy businessman. And you keep thinking throughout this film, okay, there's no way he's going to survive this encounter. There's no way he's going to get out of this. And that's part of the humor here. I actually found this movie, at least the beginning, to be fairly funny. Maybe not as funny as some other Anderson movies. The quirky sense of humor that a film like Asteroid City had, I think, worked a bit better for me. There was something about the meta nature of Asteroid City. Again, I wasn't overwhelmingly in love with that film like I am a movie like Moonrise Kingdom or Grand Budapest Hotel. Those are two of my favorite Anderson films. And Life Aquatic, by the way, one of the more underrated movies in his filmography. We're going to do a tier list, by the way. If you'd like to see that, drop a like on this video. I want to see how many people want a Wes Anderson tier list. It's weird because in my brain I'm like, yeah, I've been up and down on Anderson's filmography as of late, but in reality, The French Dispatch is the only one that I didn't at least thoroughly enjoy in some way. Everything else from Isle of Dogs to Asteroid City, I mean, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, more of a short film, but that one actually really worked for me. And so all in all, I like Wes Anderson's style. He is so wholly unique in how he operates. But not everyone's a big fan of that style. Like, I think of my wife. I love you, honey. She's a fan of Isle of Dogs, but doesn't really love his live-action films. So it's such a unique play on characters, interactions, the quirkiness, the over-the-top nature of the vibe that his movies give off, and The Phoenician Scheme is no different. Like, everything you expect from Anderson is intact, and the structure of this story is similar to other more recent Anderson films. But what I was missing from The Phoenician Scheme that I had in a movie like Moonrise Kingdom, the Wes Anderson films I love the most have this infectious, wide-eyed enthusiasm to them, this whimsical charm that I felt The Phoenician Scheme was kind of lacking in the back half of the movie. Now, when it's more narrowly focused in the beginning and you're really with these three characters and obviously at the beginning narrowly avoiding death that sets them on this path, it's not a spoiler. It's 10 minutes into the movie. Even the first interaction that we get with Tom Hanks and Bryan Cranston, that sequence was actually pretty funny. Now, this is when the movie, the story, which is my real issue here, starts to lose its focus a bit more. But I will say the sequence with all of those characters. It's a basketball sequence. It's one of the weirdest, more unique scenes in a movie I've ever seen with a basketball. They're playing a little game. I think it's their version of horse. I don't even know if they're playing horse. But it's so cartoonish in the best way. It mimics a lot of what we've seen from Wes Anderson. So funny. Hanks and Cranston playing off of each other. Del Toro and his daughter. That's a nice relationship. And Michael Cera kind of being the MVP of this movie. Every time we go back to him, I think he just fits so perfectly. But as the film progresses, it starts to get bogged down by not an overwhelming amount of plot and characters, but it's almost like a who's who of actors, and it starts to lose its touch, and the movie starts to lose a little bit of that unique magic that we had in the beginning, to where it really becomes a focus of, all right, we're going to this character, and here's another actor, and here's something to make the audience go, oh, I know that guy or girl. But it's almost like it didn't know what it wanted to do with its story in the back half of the movie. I'm not saying it wraps up in a terrible way, but ultimately, I think I needed a little more to chew on in the second half of the Phoenician Scheme compared to how we started that build-up, because I was so intrigued with all of these characters and how their dynamics, relationships would play out and how that sense of humor was incorporated. But by the end of the movie, I just felt something missing with the story. There was something lacking to where all of this Wes Anderson charm couldn't fill the void of what I was missing in this story, and how it had me feeling a little empty by the end of the film. That's not to say it's a terrible story. It's absolutely not. It just doesn't feel as focused or cohesive as I thought it would feel about 10-15 minutes into this movie. Not to say this plot doesn't go for it at times. There's a family-centric theme here, obviously, with the core group. The movie takes on capitalism. You've got a wealthy businessman, a lot of people that they are meeting along the way. It even takes on like this religious aspect in the beginning when you think he's died. We enter this place that I don't know if Wes Anderson has ever been before as a filmmaker, so that was fairly cool. I didn't have an emotional attachment to this film like I have other more recent Anderson movies, specifically Isle of Dogs, which I just absolutely love. But even Asteroid City, there was something to that you could admire about that script, what it was trying to say. And this movie's trying to say a lot, but I'm also sitting here thinking, is it trying to say too much? And there's not that connection that I've had with some of his other works because of that. Now, not everyone's going to feel this way. If you're a huge fan of Wes Anderson, you're going to like this movie, right? It's the same style, the same shtick. If you're not a fan, I don't think this is going to be the one to win you over. You'll probably watch this and roll your eyes the entire time. So it's not a needle mover, and it won't be for a lot of people one way or the other. But before I give you my score, what is your favorite Wes Anderson film? I'm going to take the best few comments and talk about them in my Wes Anderson tier list. Good, bad, if you have some bad movies you want to talk about, but I want to open up that discussion down below about Wes Anderson. What's your favorite? What's your least favorite? What's the most underrated? And of course, please share this review if you feel inclined to do so. Wes Anderson has once again crafted a visually stunning world in the Phoenician Scheme, with each set piece bursting with his signature visual flair. This time, he spices things up with unexpected splashes of gore, a bold twist for his usually whimsical palette. Del Toro is excellent as our death-dodging businessman, and Michael Cera is the perfect Anderson puzzle piece. The story starts out strong, but by the second act it stumbles, bogged down by a scattered focus that dilutes the magic of its opening. Missing is the infectious, whimsical enthusiasm that makes a film like Moonrise Kingdom soar. Not to continue comparing this to his other works, but that's just giving you an idea as to where my head was at. What did you think about the Phoenician Scheme? Is this going to work for you? And are you a Wes Anderson fan? Appreciate you for watching tonight. How to Train Your Dragon. I'm seeing the live action movie. A reaction to come right after.